show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, guys, it's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV Live. You know where it is. We're here, and we're doing a post-fight review. A lot has been said about last night, so let's get into it. So last night we had Joseph Parker first Fabio Wardley for the WBO interim title in the O2 Arena. I see Base the Kid went, Pugilist went in the end. Looked very filled. Saw some of my Ipswich peoples up in there as well. I know they made the trip down via minibus and minivan, some by cars, etc. Um, so it looked like a good atmosphere up in there. I know someone did say that it felt a bit. But I'll let them explain it later on. I'll let Base explain his opinions on Fight Talk Live. So make sure you tune into that later on. But yeah, let's get into it. So main event, and then I'll get into a bit of the undercard afterwards. So we had Joseph Parker, Fabio Wardley, as I spoke about the weights, and it seems the master aficionado settings kicked in. You know, it was an 11th round stoppage by Fabio Wardley. I did say look at it in particular between rounds 10 and 11. I said it'll get it done between 8 and 12. I said 9 and 12 or 9 and 11. Then I said 8 and 12 to broaden it up a bit, and then I said, but specifically look at for rounds 10 and 11, I think. And then there you have it. So let's get into it. So the fight now, what I did, some of my takes from it. So first of all, Joseph Parker started off well. He said that he was going to stick it on him and try and get rid of him early. He landed a short chopping right hand in the first. Wardley grabbed hold of him, and he didn't really do that much damage. In the second round, Wardley was getting his jab off and stuff, and then he hit Parker with a right uppercut left hook that had him going. And he started, landing some other uppercuts, big hooks in there. Parker was backed up on the rope. He looked like he was stunned, but you could see in his face he wasn't like very hurt and stuff, but he was definitely bothered. His legs was doing a little bit of wobbles here and there, and he was definitely feeling the punches and the power of the shots because he was coming in, and then obviously Wardley's going in trying to look for an early finish of his own. But Parker smartly, whilst he was buzzed, he spat his gum shield out. And then what I didn't like is that the referee, Howard Foster, he called a lull. He didn't even wait for, you're meant to wait for a lull in the action. A lull was not in the action, and the ref just stopped it and then allowed time for Parker to get his gum shield washed and put back in, which allowed him to get his recovery time and get his legs back under him and regroup and compose himself. Veteran move by Joseph Parker, but not a good call in that section of the fight whilst the gum shield has been dislodged. It's all about timing. Read the route. You got to know about the timing. And I think Howard Foster, in a few instances, made calls at possible inappropriate times in various people's opinions for various reasons. But we will get into that, and I'll give my conjecture against some of the people who do like a big moan up and just do a lot of knee-jerk reacting, in my opinion. So yeah, Wardley won the second and the third. As I said, he would have a good start, and then Joseph Parker started to get to work using some good chopping rights over the top, hitting Wardley. Wardley was like, sometimes he was getting caught square on and in positions where he's athletically jumping back, kind of like David Haye, the way he jumps back. Obviously, he's young now, he's 30, but when he gets a bit older, he might need to, I don't know about how hard training camps are, wear and tear. But be careful. You don't want to, do your Achilles and stuff. But the way he jumps back athletically, and then he's like that, lining up, to set up the big right hand, kind of David Haye-ish. Even though it's not style, he doesn't fight like David Haye. But there's elements where you could probably see he has probably watched and learned bits and bobs from him, which is good. But then obviously people say Wilder as well. I don't really see that. He's a lot better of a better boxer than Wilder. even though Wilder was an Olympic bronze medalist, but then so was Fraser Clark, and we saw what Fabio did to him. Another good thing that I noticed Parker was doing that in clinches, Wardley in the clinches, Wardley was like doing some little shovel jabs into the body, um, that's sort of taking the air out of Parker. And even the clinches, it wasn't like Parker, even though he was 20 pounds heavier, he wasn't able to pull it around. But that's what I'm saying about built for show, built to go. Not saying Joseph's weak, but when you're packing on doing the beefcake thing and the henchman thing, that's not really conducive into putting that. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be stronger than the other man. Um, and then yeah, he had good sections there. It was a good back and forth fight, ebbs and flows, etc. But then we're going to get into the main crux of it in the 10th round. Wardley got Parker going in the 10th with a uppercut. With an uppercut, he dipped over and for an uppercut left hook again, and he had Parker wobbling, and then he put a salvo together of 27 shots, and about 15 of them landed, and he had him really going there, and Parker was saved by the bell in the 10th. So we have to put this into the element behind what's coming up in the 11th. So he's already got him going, and Parker was saved by the bell after that big salvo where Parker was hurt in that 10th round. Let's remember, the ref could have jumped in at any point there, and I don't know, would you have said it was early then because he had him really going in that 10th? Go and watch it back, and then in the 11th round, at about 1 minute 45 seconds in, Wardley's hit him with a big sledgehammer straight right that has now got him going. And then for 40 seconds, if you watch it, he's unloading on him. He's thrown 49 punches. Not saying they all landed, but for about 40 seconds, there was definitely a good 33 unanswered punches in there. And with 1 minute 7 left, Parker didn't do himself any favors, especially when he got hit with that left hook after the Wardley sort of shouldered him off, and he sagged into the ropes. It was an uppercut he blocked because he just covered up like that. Then a left hook slammed into the side of his head. Yes, Wardley missed with the right hand, but he had him going for a good 45 seconds there, and too many unanswered shots. Didn't clinch properly or effectively. Didn't take a knee to regroup himself. So he kind of gave Howard Foster an opportunity there, and in Howard Foster's opinion, probably will say he left him in no position but to stop the fight because it was just an onslaught with nothing returning. Even Andy Lee said that Parker gave the referee an opportunity. Big shots were going in, and he gave him the opportunity. He should have took a knee or held, etc., or fired back, but he didn't. So people were screaming, "Oh, it's the worst robbery ever! Oh, this is terrible! This is just disgraceful!" People just overselling it, knee-jerk reacting. Just because people like a good moan and a good scream up. But if you actually watch it back with professional eyes and put it under real scrutiny, this ain't even in the top 10 worst stoppages in history, let alone top 10 of even Howard Foster's career. Even though Howard Foster is known for jumping in early, as we all know, had Fury gone down in that 12th round to Wilder and was flat on his back, eyes closed, Howard Foster would have waved it off. We know this. So if you've got a referee like that, you've got to fire back. If you're in that kind of trouble, you've got to fight your way out. The same way anytime that Parker stuck it on Wardley and, sort of stunned him or hurt him or did anything, Wardley made sure that he fired back. And a good thing Wardley was doing, he's definitely improved on his defense. I feel he would improve on his engine. And I feel that he'll improve defensively and not look at the floor and get uppercutted in the face constantly like he was against Justice Hooney. But what Justice Hooney was doing is that he was level changing, sort of dipping low, coming in low. And I thought that Joseph Parker would have done that because on the pads, he was doing that, sort of shimmying, sort of Andy Lee Kronk style on the pads and stuff, and then firing. And they were like, you're showing videos of him training leading up to it, that he was doing the rolling in. So I thought, he's going to sort of emulate a Justice Hooney type thing, but just more of a bully boy thing because of the weight advantage. But he didn't. He wasn't coming in low. He kind of kept himself quite upright and just sort of tried to argy-bargy him in. There was times when Parker, because I was thinking, I remember in the Chisora fight, what he was doing, he was hitting with the uppercut and then hitting with bare uppercuts on Chisora, dropping him and mashing him up. There was a couple of times when he was doing a couple of them Roy, he was doing the hooks instead, because what Wally was doing, instead of dipping with his face down, he was doing that. Or if he was dipping, he was like that. So when Parker would try to throw the uppercut, it wouldn't really land. But then what he would do this multiple hook thing, which would catch Wardley in the face, and Wardley was like, oh. And then, but then it's like also in the 10th round as well. What led up to when Wardley got him with that uppercut left hook? Parker hit him with a sledgehammer right hand, boom in his face. And Wardley, you could see he was hurting, and he just said something to him. Like he said, I don't know what he said. I don't know if he said "F it" or "wow" or something. Let's go, whatever. And then that's when he's just gone in and then hit him with the uppercut left, and then boom, he just gone in that 10th round and nearly stopped him there. Also, I remember in the 5th round, Wardley hit Parker with a massive right hand that you echoed throughout the O2 and through the TV, and it just went boom, but it bounced off Parker. Parker just went, and I thought, rah, that's a chin. So maybe the added weight did help his legs, and where he wouldn't go down, where normally some of the shots would have made him go on his knee or go over. But maybe the added weight, I think the added weight was a hindrance, where he was so big Wardley probably couldn't knock him over fully yet. He probably had to, but I thought that the writing was on the wall. A referee, one of the commentators said that the writing was on the wall, but the paint hadn't dried yet. I think he was just one shot away from sort of dropping him or etc. And then remember, you've got to get through and then also people are going, oh yeah, I had Parker several rounds. I'm like, you ain't scoring the fight. How can you say ebbs and flows and you're scoring the fight 7 rounds wide? That's not how the judges had it. Because I've got the judges scorecards. Where is it? We've got the judges scorecards. I've got the judges scorecards here. 1 second. So we've got 98-92 to Parker, which I think was wide. Then you've got 96-94 and you've got 95-95. So had Wardley won the 11th and the 12th, Wardley would have won by a split decisions or possibly a draw. But had he definitely got a 10-8 round in either that 11th or 12th, which some people saying Parker should have just got a standing 8 count. So you're saying he's definitely in a position where a count needs to be administered at least. That's even those who you're saying about premature, you're saying there should have been a standing 8 count because it like Fury or whatever, because he sagged into the ropes as well. So he was tired. He was more tired than hurt, but he was getting buzzed up and he was knackered. And Howard Foster, he's never had a casualty on his watch, even though he did let Josh Warrington take a massive beating over Lara. But other than that, he normally is in there early in there like swimwear. So Wardley was en route to a victory anyway on points. But I called it, I said between 10 and 11. I broadened it, said 8 to 12, but I said in rounds particular, 10th and 11th. So Master Aficionado settings right there. Where does Parker go next? He's got options open for him. He's still valuable. Warren said that you'll get him a fight and stuff like that. You saw Parker's face in the post-fight thing. Also, I noticed from the 3rd round when he got hurt, he was bothered. What was hurt? He was bothered while he was getting hurt and trying to sort of get himself together. He kept dabbing at his eye. So, and you see in his face, he had the Wardley gash on the nose, but it went over to his eye, and his eye looked a bit Halloweenish. And then even that final salvo as well in the 11th, his eye was bothering him, so he was in a bit of trouble there. He was in bother. So he wasn't showing signs. The ref could say, because someone called me and said, yeah, but he looked in his eyes. I said, well, the ref can just say I looked in his eyes and I didn't like what I saw. Whether it's true or not, that's the referee. That's how Howard Foster's going to get away with it. And yeah, he does sometimes rip the last page or two out of a book to not give you a really good conclusive ending to a good story. But hey, it's Howard Foster in it, and it's not good. But one thing I will say about Howard Foster, I think because of the name he's built up, I think people want to give a good scream about, it's always him, it's always him. But in my opinion, he is early. He is a man who is quite early and probably a bit squeamish and panics under pressure. And what I would like to see is him be demoted from an A-star referee, because they was quick to demote Ian John Lewis from A-star referee. They didn't ever give Jeff Hines a good shot at A-star refereeing. You know, let's talk about it. Let's hit the elephant in the room. Is there an element of institutionalized racism going on here? Because Howard Foster is notorious for jumping in early, known for having fans moan about premature stoppages. Another one was Ian John Lewis was known for a couple mad stoppages like the Enzo Macronelli Oval Mackenzie one. Victor Loughlin has done some mad scorecards. I've seen some mad judging from some, but Howard Foster's judging does tend to be good. So they should more get him in judging on these big fights rather than reffing, because I don't feel he's a star. He's never been demoted down. I'm not saying he should get the sack, and he's getting older. He's getting a bit softer, so he's gonna start jumping in earlier. And what it is, I just feel that yes, the writing was on the wall, but he did it at maybe an inappropriate time because Wardley had missed the punch. But it wasn't a world title fight, like proper world title, but it was an inappropriate time rather than an outrageous stoppage, in my opinion. But it was an inappropriate time also when he stopped the action when Joseph Parker's mouthguard got dislodged. So he was just always not on time. He's always there when you call though for the stoppage, but he's not always on time with his decision making, and that's what sort of aggravates myself. But I think some people do like a good screamer. But one thing I will say is, even if you listen to the commentary, yeah, they was even saying, "Oh, he's gonna get stopped. He's gonna get stopped." And if you don't believe me, listen to it. So fair use, fair use, fair use. Hold on, fair use, right? So here we go. We're gonna do it. So hopefully I don't get no madness. Yeah. So here we go. Here we go. Parker's in danger of being stopped. Yeah. This is the opportunity of his life. Yeah. Howard Foster's going to stop him. Wardley now, unanswered punches. So the referees, this is what the commentators are saying. This is what they're saying in the sequence. Yeah. This is what they're saying. They're saying they can see the right. They can see it happen. They're saying, unanswered punches. It's going to stop him. The ref's going to jump in. So it's going on. It's going on. Even in the 10th, they were saying that. So he's getting busy. Wardley's getting real busy. And do you know what? When you look at Wardley's style, yes, people say unconventional and blah, blah, and they talk white collar. He's had 24 fights now. He's a proper boxer. He's a proper pro, right? His style, he reminds me of, but he's got a much better engine because this person had asthma, why he was able to his stamina wasn't the best, but even though he did score a 12th round knockout over Ibragimov, in the 12th, and he's got the most first round knockouts in history, and that's Shannon Briggs. If you look at the way Fabio Wardley fights, that sort of athletic, and then launches it in and goes in, because when you look at old school heavyweights, none of them were really launching punches with everything in it. Yeah, Mike Tyson, but he was more compact, so it weren't like that. But I'm saying, as a tall guy, like Wardley is 6'5". I think Shannon Briggs is about 6'4", 6'4.5", and he launches, and when he gets you going, he goes in. And Wardley's style reminds me of Shannon Briggs, if you think about it. But it's just Wardley's got a much better engine. But you see the way he moves and the way he starts firing the shots and stuff like that, the mentality, he's definitely Shannon Briggs-ish. I think he'd be very good for him to go over there and do a bit of training with him, get some teachings from him, etc. I'm not saying leave your trainer. I think he's improved massively under his trainer from the last fight. He was also shoulder rolling and stuff like that. People talking about, Parker was riding the shots. He weren't riding the shots properly. He was still getting caught and grazed and hit and stuff like that. And they're saying Floyd was, Floyd weren't getting buzzed and wobbled and sagging on ropes and stuff like that. It's a big difference. But shout out to my boy John Canine, I mean John Keenan. But from 13th for final round. But yeah, make sure you tune in to Fight Talk Live tonight with myself, Base the Kid. October Richie's busy again, and we'll get into this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on my prediction video and my post-fight analysis, what I've just done now. And until next time, it's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV Live, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is. Oh, sorry. And before I forget, let me go into briefly into the undercard. Mitchell Smith versus Arnie Dawson. Mitchell Smith dropped him in the first round. Arnie Smith had a good eighth round, but overall, Mitchell Smith, dominated, and he had a good finish, and that was a 10th round. He won the WBO and IBF. What was it? Some funny titles there that he did. Hold on a minute, because we've got Master Aficionado once again making up too much noise, and he's going to get himself in trouble. He won the WBO European lightweight title. So Mitchell Smith, I've known him from back in the day when he was on Box Nation with Frank Warren. I remember when he was famous and he had this highlight reel where he did this mad volley, boom, 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 and knocked this guy out on Box Nation. He's 32 now. I remember he's the babyface assassin, and he just went missing for years. I know he was unbeaten in a certain amount of fights until I think he was like, where is it, 13-0, and he fought Georgie Jupp. And I remember Georgie Jupp from when I was an amateur. Georgie Jupp is about, how old is Georgie Jupp? He's 2 years older than Mitchell Smith. So Georgie Jupp would be, 34? Yeah, he was around junior, no, a bit younger than that. But I remember Georgie Jupp. I'm a bit older than him. But yeah, he was around in my era, and he lost on points. And then from there, he had a fight about 10 months later, Mitchell Smith. Then won in 2017. Then he went away and didn't fight for, in 2021, for 5 years. Knocked out a guy and before he was campaigning at like 130 pounds. He even fought, about 130 pounds. He was fighting at lightweight. Then he came back at 2022, 149 pounds, because he went up to 110 kilos, about 18 stone or something like that. And the guy he took out was 154 pounds. Then he was 147 pounds 2 years later. He didn't box. So he boxed in 20, was out for 5 years, came back, had one fight, stopped the guy in 5, out for 2 years, won on points there in 2024. That was December, really. So this is where his run's been. And then he had another one in March, 3 months later, down at 139.5 pounds, so 140. The guy was 143, 1 on points, and then he's fought Arnie Dawson 7 months later, and he was down at 135 pounds. And he's got himself in really good shape, so well done to him for that. Ezra Taylor put on a good performance, beat Steve Woodall, breaking him up. Looked a bit like Richard Williams did back in the day, but I still say he reminds me of a cross between Anthony Small and Shakan Pitter style wise, and kind of looks wise as well in the face. But yeah, until next time, and tune in at Fight Talk Live as well. Get in the comment section, please. Hit the like button, hit that hype button, because it really does help push it in the algorithm and notification and recommendations. Leave comments in the comment section for engagement. Share with your peoples. Let them get that knowledge. Let them subscribe to the channel so I can be one of the channels where it gives me more incentivization to give you guys more content, because I know you want to hear more from me, but you got to get busy in the comments. You've got to get active and engage. Otherwise, it's just like, what's the point? I've got a busy life, busy schedule, family man, etc., and working man. So yeah, persistence beats resistance. It's Danny Glover, Fight Fan TV Live, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. Big up, actually, for your fate each and every time. You don't know what the thing said. We're gone.